Um, Alex Manuco said, "Hello, Rod. What tennis books have you read, and which do you enjoy the most?"
The one that I read just recently was the life story of Lou Hode. That was one that I thought a lot of. The other one, not big books, but it's one that Cliff Ritchie wrote about his time and trials with depression, and I think that hit home that other people have problems, but they're mainly ones.
Van Nguyen said, "Do you still play tennis?"
No, I haven't played tennis now in about probably 9 months, and it's because I've got arthritis in my left wrist, and it just vibrates too much when I try to play the game. So, I had been playing with my son and a group of his friends, but unfortunately, it just stung too much, and unfortunately, because that was the way I found that I could stay fit was playing tennis, but that was the reason I just wasn't able to play because of a wrist.
Another question from Ito Koichi said, "What's the best match you've ever seen?"
There was one match I played, not, there was one match I watched, and it was at the French Championships. It was Robert a Frenchman, playing Budge Patty, and was he was up. Budge was up 6-love. I mean, Budge was up 5-love in the fifth set, and IA came back and beat him 7-5, and you're thinking, this is not possible. But that's one of the matches that sort of sticks in my head, that how can you be up 5-love and 40-love and not win the match? And here's Robert Aye, and of course, as you can tell, a French crowd were going nuts. And so that was sort of one that you remember. But, there's always other matches, that great matches. And I think that probably some of the Nadal Federer match at Wimbledon was one that I watched and enjoyed.
Leonardo Fausto said, "Where do you find the most fun in your life right now?"
I enjoy all sides of the television, watching the sporting events. I was a Charger fan, went down there and enjoyed it. But in many ways, I look back at now some of the youngsters. When I looked at my little granddaughter, who's 11 years of age, and she plays soccer, and she's just starting out. And how do you know where anybody's going? But here you're starting right at the very bottom, and seeing how they improve and what they do about it.
Another question from Jason Odland said, "Do you think Nadal can match Federer's Grand Slam record? And if he does, will that make him the greatest of all time?"
Yeah, I think, well, Nadal certainly can continue on making and winning Grand Slams. I think maybe Rogers probably got maybe one more Grand Slam left in him with his ability, because he's only 30 or 31, and so I would say Nadal certainly is capable of winning a couple more French, and he likes Wimbledon, so why can't he win 3 or 4 more? And I don't think anybody owns the title best ever, but I think if the best in your era, Federer came along 8, 10 years before Nadal. So Nadal is probably going to go into another era with the likes of Djokovic and Murray. And so I'd say, Nadal is certainly a world champion and a great athlete.
Miguel Vasquez asked, "Who of these players was the best of the wooden era, the wooden racket era? Bill Tilden, Don Budge, Pancho Gonzalez, or Ken Rosewall?"
Well, there are four, huge difference in Don Budge was using rackets that didn't have grips on them. Kramer had rackets that were heavy rackets, but I don't know. I would think probably if I looked at it, I'd say Gonzalez was the better of those players, because he had perseverance and his attitude about not giving up was one of the things that I liked about Pancho. Although we had some run-ins off the court, as well as on the court, but he still was a great champion.
Vero Eaton asked, who was your best buddy that you played at the time that you played?
I think Roy Emerson was the best player that I traveled with, and the greatest friendship, which we still have, is most of the time when you go off with Australian group, and there's maybe 6 or 8 players in a team. So you've got Neil Fraser and you've got the likes of Rosewall and Hode, which are all friendly with. But I think probably Roy was my close friend.
Amina Kadri asked, do you think there ever could be a shot clock or a time system in tennis where if you don't play in a certain amount of time, you'd be penalized more consistently?
Well, I think there's rules out there now that certainly apply to that, and it gets abused. Because to me, matches are getting longer and longer and longer, and when you go to get a towel after every point, you're looking at a lot of time lapse. Certainly the changeover, is not new, but it's one where a 90-second changeover. When we played, you didn't allow to have chairs on the court, so you just stood at the umpire chair, got a drink, and went around and kept playing. So our four-set match or 4-hour match could have turned into a 6-hour match too if it took all this time. So I would think that there should be some rules set up so that if the rules have to be in play all the time. So if there's got to be reasons why if you don't play within 20 seconds or whatever it is, and wait, it's nearly a minute before you start serving again, you're not helping tennis. You've got to be able to allow the public to be part of this package too, not just, you going off to get a towel. Everybody's getting, tired of someone to give them a towel again.
And our last question is from Luder Artinian, who says, what do you think is different in the men's game today that might never allow a repeat of your feat of winning 2 calendar Grand Slams?
Can you start that again?
What do you see as the biggest challenge in another person winning the Grand Slam today?
No, I think the players of today trying to win a Grand Slam, the biggest thing is the competition. You're going to find, as we know now, we've got 4 of the top players in the world, vying for tournaments, and so one of them, is going to end up knocking out someone that's got 2 or 3 legs in. So that's one of the things that I think that not that I own the Grand Slam title, but it's a nice club to be in with Don Budge.
Any advice for Justin Gimelstob, who's getting married in 3 weeks?
Justin, I've known Justin for some time, and we've always had some good times, and I enjoy watching his programs on TV, and I just wish him well in his nuptials. And Mary and I have had 44 years, so you get 44 to play with.